Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel, and today I will be talking about power of crop, which was a trend on Instagram and TikTok, and maybe sometimes it's still popping out, like how you see it and how me see it. And I was very curious about this, especially shooting the football. So I decided to go here in Romania, Bucharest, for the game of FOTOLOVE versus Arges, another team from the league, and to take my 50mm lens on S1R2 to prove or not prove, basically, if power of crop is a thing, or what is positive and what is not positive on it, and actually why I think if you can to avoid it. The thing is that of course a bigger sensor, which in this case plays a role, makes sense if you want to do a post crop. Of course this is very Captain Obvious thing, but I'm telling it especially because if you have like 24 megapixels and less, I don't really think that the power of crop, and especially massive crop, is the thing you should go, and I think you should invest into the lens in such an equipment which will allow you not to need it to do it, because cropping basically means that you're reducing the quality of photography. Regardless what you say, you're smallening the image size, but you're also smallening the pixels on it, which creates less sharpness, blah 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 blah. If you have a bigger sensor, like for example Lumix S1R2 has 44 megapixels and something, you can grab an image and then more crop inside without losing like a crazy quality. But yet of course you are kind of losing it, because it's a big difference if you shoot on 200mm something the action and you just a little bit crop in to, you know, get where you couldn't get, for example, or really pinpoint the complete action, which for example in football, like to grab it exactly at the moment, maybe it's a little bit harder, especially if, for example, for me when I'm not that ultra experienced in shooting sports, or if you shoot it on 50mm and then most of the action is happening much far away and you need to crop massively. Of course, there the results are still amazing but limited. You must always think that this is not a proper way how to use a camera. This is just another usability of the camera, and there are actually photographers who says this is not the way how to go, this is wrong, you should really shoot only with the proper instruments. Like, but yes, but most of the people then will never shoot anything because they will never have exactly the proper instruments for the exact occasion. I'm always saying use your hardware, use your tools the ideal way you could, but use them. And if they are not ideal for your work, still do it. Because first of all, you will learn the limitations, and you will also learn how to a little bit go over it. And then actually when you will have a proper instruments, you will use this knowledge to do it even better. So I think rather than not to do anything, do everything and then decide, you know, then choose. Otherwise, maybe you would stuck and do nothing. You know, it's like saying from most likely from the people who has every equipment in the world. They already made it and forgot a little bit where they came from, that they didn't have equipment. And they just simply didn't have it. And they needed to find a way how to use it for their own work, whatever it was. So this is for the power of crop. Of course, in here you see the examples how I was cropping the 50mm, but what you can see that even with such a super sharp lens, and I didn't put a great, of course it's a football, so there's some ISO, blah 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 blah, you don't get so much detail further because it's just not made for it. Yes, this setup, but if I only have this, I can still go on football match and shoot it. This is the most important thing of it. But then think how many megapixels has your camera, because this plays a crucial role, or where and how you can crop it not to lose so much quality. Yes, and there is a big, huge gap, huge difference between 24 and 44. The thing is, if you need it, because for example, for sport, especially in full frame world, a little bit lower megapixels, it's also a little bit better for the speed of the sensor to read out, you know. So there's always some kind of trade-off if something, but again, if you have only this instrument and you are passionate into football, if you have 24mm, there are guys who are shooting this on analog and they are doing it. And you know why they are doing it? Because they are not afraid that why not to do this? Why not to shoot on anything? I saw a guy was shooting on phone. Okay, whatever. After all, the story, the results, maybe they have the best shot, after all, the best, you know, the best second of the match. Maybe, but you will never find out without trying. And again, I'm telling you, even though I'm not a super fan of power of crop, I think this is the way how you can try and you can do it. But maybe you don't agree with me, and maybe you do. In the comments below, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, buy me a coffee if you want to, and see you in the next one next time. Bye.